And it's getting better, not just by the day, but by the very second, because there's construction all around the ground with the T20 World Cup that is imminent and about to start in 6 weeks' time. Going to be transferred 4,500. It's going to be the debutant to take the new ball to the the left arm seamer. Get it right this time. We'll be bowling to the two right-handed batters, Asif Sheikh and Kushal Bertel, who is on strike. Here we go, his first ball in international cricket, and he starts with a dot. Just a little bit of movement back into the right-hander. Haven't seen a huge amount of here in these Omani conditions. Just a little bit right at the start of the day. Probably that movement. Oh, this is going to be close, and I believe a direct hit would have definitely been out. Bertel are very quick between the wickets, but CJ Amini is as good as they come at backward point, not just in associate cricket, in world cricket. He's got quickly to the ball. He's picked up one-handed, and we saw him do this yesterday to Aaron Jones of America. He ran out Aaron Jones in almost the exact same circumstances, just from the other end of the pitch. And Kushal Bertel would have been caught short, probably by as much as a foot or two. Really good quick work, but Nepal do get off the mark. But in very, very fortuitous circumstances. There's a little bit of movement back in. Really no pace on offer from Kabuavagi. Just slow through the air. Nice shape. Asif Sheikh and Bertel, this new opening partnership that has had such success for Nepal in the T20I format. Those 5 matches in the Tri-Series there in Kathmandu. So after not bowling at all yesterday, batsman only yesterday, Norman Vanua, he will open the bowling Papua New Guinea's leading ODI wicket taker. He's got a great record as well, 34 ODI wickets in just 24 games, bowls with good pace, and does generate good movement with the new ball. Barrel straight through to Kushal Bertel. I think Vanua must be working his way back from a little bit of an injury. But for this, down the leg side, signalled wide. Umpires today. He's had a change of ends. Oh, so nearly thudding into the pad. Just a fine outside edge saved. Kushal Bertel there because he was playing across the line. Vanua just getting that shape away from the right-hander. And look at the replay of this, because if he didn't get that bat down in time, that would have been as plumb as they come. It would have struck him right in front of middle stump. And he would have been, without doubt, adjudged LBW, to my eyes anyway. Goes for the Yorker again. Good start this from Vanua. Yeah, interesting. As much as anything, wanting to do something different from the other day. Wanting to ensure that his batsmen get some practice. And also get the exposure to give his side the opportunity to field under the brand new floodlights here, used for the very first time in international cricket yesterday. Quite a sight indeed, and yeah, you're very welcome to join me here. Andrew Leonard, I'll say hello to you. That's the commentary camera. I'm up in the orange. And thank you so much for joining us, Andrew Leonard, here in the commentary box. Remember to get in touch with me throughout the day. Keep me company. I'll be commentating on my own throughout these 100 overs, so do keep me company at Cricket Badge on either Twitter or Instagram. Send me your questions and comments. I'll read those out. Probably get to those later in the power play. So, end of the second over. Tight start from PNG. Nepal 6 for none. Taken. That's going to be the first wicket. Hit in the air. Asif Sheikh holds the bat against his head. There's the joy. There's the celebrations that we're used to seeing from Papua New Guinea. That's more like it for them. And it's a debut wicket for Kabua Vagi. It was hit aerially. It was juggled. We saw Papua New Guinea put down a lot of catches yesterday. Just juggled and clung on to on the second attempt. An early strike, an early breakthrough for PNG. Look at the joy. The international wicket to his name. Asif Sheikh falls. He's gone for 3 from 7 deliveries. He's got to go And Nepal, they are 6 for 1. Holy captain for Nepal. And he's there because of a maiden ODI wicket for the left arm seamer Kabu Avagi, a moment he will never forget. And he so nearly has a second. I think Mala, as much as anything, deceived. Really slow through the air, old-fashioned, tempting left arm swing bowling this. And look at this, he was through his shot too early. He's just chipped it in the air. It hasn't quite carried to Tony Ura, who's at mid-wicket. Yeah, that catch was taken by Assese Bao there. You see him at extra cover. And I think one of the fascinating things that we've seen from the course of this week, it's definitely taken them a little while to get going again in international cricket, particularly with the bat. But what they are renowned for is their fielding, their quality of fielding, their energy, their enthusiasm, their passion, their celebrations. The joy that they play their cricket with is a real sight to behold. And as I was having a chat to Asado Avala this morning, before the toss, before the warm-ups even, Asado Avala there in the background, he was saying we found it really difficult with COVID. They haven't been able to train together. They've also had to follow all the protocols, which of course means social distancing. You're not allowed to celebrate when you get wickets or congratulate your teammates. And that comes to the very opposite nature of what Papua New Guinea and the Barramundis cricket is all about. It's all about joy. And it's all about expressing themselves and enjoying themselves. And he said that his side have been making a conscious attempt to try and get back to the style of cricket that they play in. But they've just found it a little bit difficult, particularly on the opening day. Good start for them, though, here with the ball. Can't beat the circle that's tight. Cheers from PNG. 3 overs gone. Nepal, 6 for 1. Big swing and a miss from Kushal. Vanua just starting to up his pace. His first over looked quite tentative, as having his first bowl in international cricket in the best part of 2 years. He was really impressive, Norman Vanua, in the T20 World Cup qualifier. As Papua New Guinea made history, qualifying for the first time. It wasn't just with the ball, also with the bat. 54 he made against Kenya, but taking plenty of wickets as well. 10 wickets in the tournament, and Only going wicketless against the Netherlands, nobody else. And just imagine if CJ Amini could have affected that run out of Kushal Bertel. That would have been the dream start. 2 wickets, both openers would have been gone, but instead it's the skipper, Gyanendra Malla. Of course, he's been captain for a new, young, dynamic side Dav Watmore has been building. He's having to get over the trauma, I suppose trauma is the best word to describe it, of losing their iconic ex-captain, that's Paris Khadka, who is retired from all forms of international cricket. And there's the shape, but the shape's coming after it passes the bat. Movement away from the right-handers. Yeah, Paris Khadka, who so many of the Nepali fans idolise really as a bit of a god-like figure, a little bit like Sachin Tendulkar in Indian cricket, or maybe Shahid Afridi in Pakistani cricket. It's a nice shot into the leg side, so Malla will get off the mark. Yeah, but the era of Khadka is no more, and it's on to the next generation. Not too many hugely experienced players in this. Mature cricketers, the likes of Gyanendra Malla and Sharad Vasakar. Exception to maybe Karan KC and Sampal Kami. Edged, and that's going to be the second wicket. Papua New Guinea right on top to start with. It was a loose shot. Didn't learn his lesson from earlier in the over, Kushal Bertel, where he had played and missed outside the off stump. The movement away from the right-hander has worked the oracle. An edge through to Kipling Dariga, one of the best glove men on the associate circuit. He's not going to be dropping that. And PNG right on top. They've dismissed both openers now. Sheikh is gone, and now Bertel goes. They've both fallen for 3. Nepal in a real spot of bother. They are 9 for 2. Very nearly the player of the match, really, with his innings of 41 that rescued Nepal on Tuesday. He's going to be in at number 4. Closes out the 4th over. Nepal still 9 for 2. So real pressure on Nepal to start with. You have to give great credit to Papua New Guinea. They've played 4 matches in 5 days this week. It's the 4th one-day international today they'll be playing. Nepal warming up for the Cricket World Cup League 2 series. It starts on Monday. Which is between Nepal, USA, the Oman Cricket Academy, and all 6 of those games will actually be day-night games as well. So just like today, at 2:30 p.m. local time start. Just wait till you see these floodlights kick into gear in the second half of the game. Yeah, it certainly was a tight run thing between Rohit Paudel, who fell with the scores tied, who made 41 from 65 deliveries, and Sandeep Lamachani, who was the player of the match with his 4 for 35. But Nepal, until that, and Sampal Kami looked like they were staring down the barrel of defeat. 82 for 7 they were. He looked to cut above the rest of the Nepali batsmen, really, Paudel, and that's probably why we've seen him promoted up the order. Batted number 6 on Tuesday, up to number 4. Arif Sheikh out of the side, remember. He could only manage 9, so both the numbers 4 and 5 from Tuesday, they've been dropped. Arif Sheikh and Sharad Vasakar left out of the side. Also Pawan Saraf, the off spinner, who fell to a first ball duck. He's been left out too. And that's a lovely drive. Definitely the shot of the day so far. Straight down the ground. It will travel with enough pace to run away for a dish home fibre net boundary. Take a quick look at the replay. The perfect straight drive. Full flourish of the bat. And Paudel gets into his work. 5 overs gone. It's 13 for 2. So good probing stuff from Norman Vanua. As well, a backward point. Not sure if we quite caught that, but as Rohit Paudel was just waiting for the LBW decision, the throw came in from backward point. It was, of course, Mala who hit that boundary down the ground to close. And now Paudel will get off the mark as well. Papua New Guinea look like they have been given a real talking to by their head coach, Carl Sandri, the Italian, or ex-Italian international, because they are a buzz in the field. Much more like the side who win so many hearts and minds. A little bit of fortune this time. It's dug into the pitch by Vanua. Mala does enjoy a pull shot. He usually go after anything a bit short. No real contact this time. Pulls out of that shot this time, and understandably wide of the off stump. Vanua is certainly getting the ball down at a very good pace. We'll see Damien Ravu operate at a similar speed as well. Likely to see Ravu first change, you'd imagine, with the debutante. Vaggy being given the ball to open the bowling. But it also looks like Vanua is happy to continue with this. There is no fielder out on the pull shot. So there are 3 fielders on the leg side, but it's only fine leg out. Fine leg and third man, the 2 fielders outside the circle. We're in the first power play. Good tight over. Just 2 runs coming from it. Nepal 15 for 2 after 6. Kabui Vaggy Maria, who is on his one-day international debut. Always lovely to see a debutante. USA have had 3 this week and 1 for Papua New Guinea. Stuff this, and certainly Vaggy Maria has no great pace, and I just wonder how long it'll be before Mala or Rohit Paudel start to look to come down the track towards the left-hander, counteract any of the swing that he's getting, and maybe try to power the ball down the ground side. 4 fielders on the leg side for Maria. See, that's the problem. If Paudel stays back in his crease, there's not a lot he can do with that because it's a good length. But if he can get down the track, use his feet, maybe put some pressure back on the debutante, start to be able to get that Nepali scoring rate going. The time for a quick single there. Rohit Paudel knows that this PNG side's fielding is excellent. 5 days. Nicely driven into. Well, I think Paudel would have got home anyway. So a single to close out the 7th over. Nepal. Yeah, thank you for joining us. Watching there back in Nepal on Action Sports HD on the Dish Home Network. Andrew Leonard here with you, as I have been throughout the week. Pulled into the leg side. Just going to be a single. Legacy Aka tidies up. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me, because it's been a great week of cricket. The return of one-day international cricket for all three of these sides, for Nepal, for Papua New Guinea, and for United States of America, and for USA. World talking. The reason they've set the cricketing world talking is because of the exploits of Jaskaran Malhotra, become just the fourth batsman in international history to hit 6 sixes in an over. And to give you an idea of just how rare that is, we've had over one-day internationals so far. Nearly 1,000 T20Is. So in the course of over 5,000 international matches, a mix-up. Oh, and he's going to get back. Mala sent Powdell back, and I think rightly so, but just as he sent him back, he's lost his footing. I think it looks like he's wearing half spikes, not full spikes. And he ballooned into the air. This was a real moment of drama for Kipling Doriga, who in a flash, and that would have been out. A direct hit for the second time today would have been out. More fortune for Nepal. Work into the offside. Going to be plenty of time to get through for the single to close. Still struggling. 20 for 2. The attack for Papua New Guinea. His right arm seam was really effective, particularly in his first spell in the game between these two sides on Tuesday. He ended up with 7 overs, 2 for 13. Bowling with the keeper up to the stumps like he is again today, Kipling Doriga. He's a real star in that match. 3 catches and a stumping. But he had 6 overs, 2 for 8 from his initial spell. Leaks onto the pads of Mala, who works it away to fine leg for a single. He had 6 overs, 2 for 8. I was really surprised he was taken off. He was all over Nepal. They couldn't find a way to get him away. Real old-fashioned stump-to-stump bowling. The tight ring field. Knows his game really well, Chad Soper. Great asset for this PNG side. And for Nepal, they're still finding it difficult after the loss of their openers to get any runs moving. That run rate under 2.5 and over at the moment. And the leg side, going to be runs, and it's not going to be off the bat, it's going to be wides, and 5 of them. That's a nice little freebie bonus. Nepal, not a good delivery from Soper. Angled down the leg side, and nothing that Kipling Doriga could do. Beautifully bowled. Movement away from the right-hander. Good glove work from Doriga this time. You can see Powell rehearsing the shadow batting shot straight after. Away, and again a little bit of fortune for Nepal because there is a gully in place, but it goes high and wide to his left. So that'll close out the 9th over. 3 and over Nepal are going. They are 27 for 2. From the Al Emirat end of the ground. No ball called. And that's going to be a free hit that will hopefully, from a Nepali perspective, start to get their batsman. Ahmed Shah Pakteen, the Afghan umpire, showing Damien Ravu where he's overstepped. So what that means, like all no balls these days, it's going to be a free hit. And the field cannot change as it's the same batsman on strike. So Rohit Powell can just pick his spot here and target anywhere. Big swing and a miss. Another free hit. Free hit signalled by Ahmed Shah Pakteen. Also one for the over. So a disastrous start really for Damien Ravu. Yet to bowl a legal delivery. Already gone for 2 runs and still the free hit to come. And clubbed into the leg side. Ran Malhotra exactly where he liked to target it. Same wicket as yesterday. The Wow Energy Drink Power 6 smashed high and handsome into the deep. We're going to have a few more of those today, I'd say. The Wow Energy Drink Power 6s. we're going to have a break in play because not for the first time, like we saw yesterday, someone from over on the construction site was had to go find the ball. Better from Ravu, back on a left. Legal delivery of his spell, the no ball, followed up by a wide and then heaved high into the leg side by Rohit Paudel, who gets into double figures. Of a break in play, I think that Rohit Paudel has potentially broken his bat. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, the new bat collection being run on. No sponsor stickers on any of those, so if you're watching on there from home and you fancy picking up Rohit Paudel as one of your players, he's on the market for a bat sponsor. And with more and more eyes being drawn not just to associate cricket, but in particular Nepali cricket, doubt he'll be without a bat sponsor for too much longer. Star of the future, Paudel. Has him on the bounce, just on the jump there. Good pace from Ravu. Really good length that. That's much better from Ravu. That's where he needs to be. Remember, Ravu was the one who bounced out Gyanendra. Going to close out a rather lengthy first over for Ravu. The power play is done. Nepal, 35 for 2. Thuds into the thigh pad from the bowling of Soper. Yeah, both Paudel and Mala just taking their time to get going. Strike rate's in and around 50 at the moment. Come off really an outside edge as much as anything. Brilliant work again on the offside from CJ Amini. He is such an athlete, an outstanding athlete, in fact, one of the best fielders going around associate cricket. Hit into the air and just chipped really over the head of the square leg fielder. Big swing and a miss outside the off stump this time. Yeah, I think the Nepali but is definitely a slightly different wicket to the Oman Cricket Academy Oval 2 where they played the first match on. Jaskaran Malhotra last night described it as one of the best wickets he's ever batted on. Really enjoyed. Edged and no first slip in place. He's going to survive. Big moment in the match. Guyanendra Mala gets that away for a dish home fibre net boundary 4. But that is not where he intended to hit it. Bottom hand coming directly to a first slip. And look at Chad Soper. Wipes away the sweat from his brow in sheer disgust because if first slip is in place, that's a simple catch. Mala survives and the keeper's going to go back from the stumps because of that. I think even Kipling Doriga with his cling on to that. Strays down the leg. But as we get out of the first power play into the second power play, 4 fielders allowed outside the circle now. Playing a miss outside the off stump. So 11 overs gone. Nepal, 42 for 2. So we have a whole string of awards today. We'll be bringing you in the post-match presentation the Food Mandu moment of the match. As well as the Marvel catch of the match. A bow of Papua New Guinea as he juggled, and then we'll find out who the dish home player of the match is. Their performance is anything like Jaskaran Malhotra's was yesterday. We're in for a real treat. 173 not out he made yesterday. You haven't maybe those 6 sixes that were smashed high and handsome and all over the dusk sky, just as we are entering the second power play. The second power play will run from the 10th to the 40th overs of the match. 4 fielders allowed outside the circle at this point before we enter the third power play, where just you get the ability to have one additional fielder outside the 30-yard circle, 5 fielders then. That rule brought in, or law correction, brought in shortly after the 2015 Cricket World Cup, where the batsmen were plundering the ball to all parts in the last 10 overs, so a little change to the playing conditions. And that's a lovely shot, taking the aerial route over the offside, and I think that's going to run away. Yeah, for my money, I think that's gone for a dish home fibre net 4. We're going to wait to see what Chad Soper says and signals, and maybe he's just cut it off. It was right down in front of my commentary position. I thought he might have made contact with the rope at the same time as the ball, but we'll be able to get a better view here on the replay. Let's take a look. It was just trickling out towards the rope, and surely that's 4. Can't quite understand how that one wasn't a boundary. But it was a nice cut shot nonetheless from Guinea. 12 overs gone. Nepal are 46 for 2. There'll be more runs here, cut away, and that's the shorter boundary. So a little bit of controversy as to whether the last one was a boundary or not, but that one is certainly a dish home fibre net 4. Soper, and it's been treated with a bit of disdain by Guinea. Poor delivery, short and wide, and pumped into the offside. Mala just starting to get going. He's up to 20, and good recovery from these two. 50 for 2 now. The 50 comes up in the 13th over. Nicely bowled. Good comeback from Soper. Remember that edge through the vacant slip cordon and playing a miss there. Just maybe would like to see Asadoa Vala be a little bit more aggressive with his captaincy. Speculating who might be next into bat. Graphics guys thinking Binod Bandari. Is that a fine edge? The bowler and the keeper think so, but Guinea is going nowhere. Given not out, I heard something from my position. I've got fans on behind me. I'm a long way away, but I certainly heard something. Let's take a look. The keeper in particular, Kipling Doriga, was certain. He was almost running away in celebration. Wasn't as big an appeal from Chad Soper. Wide outside the off stump, significant movement. That's the way the wind is coming across the ground as well. It's going to push those outswingers from Soper across the right-handers, but I think we probably have to give credit to the umpire here, Rahul Asher. Good decision, that one. Asher standing alongside Ahmed Shah Pakteen of Afghanistan, Vinod Babu, the third umpire today, and the match referee. That's Graham Lebroy, of course, of Sri Lanka, as it has been throughout the week. And the track this time, trying to counteract the movement, is in the field, but two barramundis there to cut it off. Big disappointment, I think, for PNG so far this afternoon to start this day-night international will be those extras at the bottom of your screen, the bottom left. 11 wides already, 5 wides from Chad Soper, but don't want to be giving away single to close out the 13th over. Nepal, they're going at exactly 4 and over. It's 52 for 2. Ravu will continue from the Al Emirat end. I'm going to give you all a reminder to come and get in touch with me, come and get engaged on social media. Send me a message at Cricket Badge. That's Andrew Leonard, your commentator here in the commentary box. We're going to wait till the first drinks break, and after that first drinks break, we're going to be hearing all your thoughts, taking your questions, your comments, your analysis, maybe your topics that you want to talk about. And remember, when you send me in a message, please tell me where you're watching on from as well. I'll read all of those out, or I'll try to read all of those out after the first drinks break in the probably the 17th over or so. We'll take the first of the 2 drinks breaks. But yeah, do get in touch and let me know what you think of today's game. I know people watching in huge numbers back there in Nepal, in particular on Action Sports HD. In Pap fans on TV1. And then in the Indian subcontinent, those Indian fans, I suppose they're devastated to not be watching the India-England Test match, which is being cancelled. But instead, you can join us and enjoy this one-day international anywhere in the Indian subcontinent. That's India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Bhutan, or the Maldives, or in North America on Willow TV. So wherever you're watching from, get in touch and let me know what you're thinking. Do just send me a direct message on Instagram at Cricket Badge or on Twitter at Cricket Badge, the same handle. And I'll do my best to get to them all after this drinks break. Looking forward to talking to you and hearing your thoughts. Only their second triangular series in that Cricket World Cup League 2. Through the madness that we've all lived through with the COVID-19 pandemic, for the series and the league to get going again. But the good news is that the 7 nations have worked together really hard. The 7 competing nations in that tournament. That's Nepal, Papua New Guinea, United States of America, Oman. Nations have worked really hard with ICC to ensure that that league will be played in its entirety. 6 one-day internationals. Worked into the leg side will just be a single to close out the 14th over. We'll come back to that. It's 54 for 2. Quite a bit of humidity as well. So certainly a little different to those in Kathmandu. So we get into the 15th over now. Perhaps PNG might be better acclimatized at this stage. Additional issue of having to play 4 games in 5 days, 4 one-day internationals. We've gone down to defeat in the 3 so far. They'll be looking to close out their win with what would be a maiden one-day international victory in recent times. In 2018. At the moment on the ICC rankings table, they've got no wins to their name, and that's because their last win was all the way back in over 3 years ago. I think that was against the United States of America. In the 15th over, Nepal, not exactly motoring, starting to push up towards 4 and over. They're going to want north of 200, you'd have thought. Chad Soper is continuing. Just proved a little expensive today. Remember, he bowled 6 overs for just 8 runs. Edged wide of the gully. He's very wide, that man at gully. I think it's Asadoa Vala, the skipper. It's not a regulation gully, it's quite a square gully. It's a second ball that's gone to his left. This one was at a catchable height. The first one wasn't. And as we approach that drinks break, just one final remark. You can now at Cricket Badge on Twitter or on direct message on Instagram. Be coming to those after the drinks break. And what's more, when we get to the drinks break, stay with us, stay watching, because we're going to bring you the highlights of the 6 sixes that Jaskaran Malhotra to make history, becoming just the 4th batsman in international history to do it. Much better from Soper. Just 1 run coming from that, the 15th over. Nepal 55. So we're going to see spin for the first. Spin in the form of the leg breaks of CJ Amini. He's been very tight this week, but hasn't taken the scale of wickets that you might expect or hope from a leg spinner. And perhaps a bit surprising to see him come on from the Al Emirat end of the ground. I think that's probably because the wind will be pushing his leg breaks into a very short boundary to work with on the leg side. This one's cut into the offside, will just be a single as Gowdy Toka does the work. Poor old Gowdy Toka. As to who the bowlers were that got hit for the 6 sixes. Can you name all 4 of them there at home? Wide, big, enthusiastic appeal from Kipling. nothing from the bowler. There was something, certainly come off something. There was a deflection. The batsman even indicating it's come off his pad, but Ahmed Shah Pakteen has given it as a wide. So maybe not out was the right decision, but the deflection. You can see the drift. So the wind coming across the ground. If we look from behind the bowler's arm, that's from left to right. So it's going to push the ball alongside the revolutions on the leg spin into the right-hander as it does. But the gamble that very short boundary in the leg side, particularly out to that sort of straight mid-wicket, cow corner region. So he can't afford to get too full or too short. His lengths have got to be good like they were in that first over. 3 runs coming from it. 16 overs gone. It's 58 for 2. Ends with the captain coming into the attack. That's Asadoa Vala. So he'll bowl his off breaks with the wind pushing across. So that's why we're seeing the 2 spinners bowl on the pavilion end of the ground. A little bit less noise from the construction, I think, with Friday being a day off. Less workers around the ground. Nice drift and a little bit of dip from Asadoa Vala. Just a very measured approach to the crease, isn't it? We were just talking about who were the 4 bowlers that have been hit for those 4 6. Here, telling you without Google as well, I promise. Know them off by heart. To hit the Dutch leg spinner, that was Dan van Bunge in 2007 in St. Kitts. And later in the year, at the first T20 World Cup. Hit into the leg side, going to be runs and going to be from the second of the innings. It's a Wow energy drink, power 6. It was a real long hop from Asadoa Vala, a drag down, just as we're talking about the bowlers who've been hit for 6 sixes. For a Wow energy, power 6, good muscle from Mala. Straight out to the vacant cow corner region. Back on the money. Stuart Broad by Yuvraj Singh in 2007. The third, Akila Dhananjaya by Kyron Pollard earlier this year. And then yesterday. Dropped, was it? No, it just hasn't carried. Just short of CJ Amini. We'll have a see if it did carry before we go to the drinks break. That may be coming, or it may be coming in just a minute or two. Powerfully pulled, and yeah, just short, almost on the half volley for. So we won't do the drinks break just yet. That'll come at the end of the next over. 17 gone. It's 66 for 2. So Amini continues. 5 or 6 batsmen this week pull out. So where do you think this game is at as we approach the first drinks break? Are Nepal pleased with their position, having lost their 2 openers early on? Still hovering under 4 and over at the run rate, just 3.83. Thuds into the pads of Mala. Nobody can't cut it off, so they will get through for the single. Just 1 ball remains, I think, surely before the drinks break. Yes, the 3rd umpire and the th men on the sides readying the drinks. Highlights of those 6 sixes. Early, I'm going to go get a drink, as will the players. At the end of the 18th over, it's 68 for 2. Here it is, Jaskaran Malhotra smashing the ball to all parts, making history at this very ground at the Oman Cricket Academy last night. Malhotra, 6 balls to work with from Toka. And the first one's going to soar into the sky, and I don't want to say it was inevitable that it's hit for 6. It can't be an inevitability, but when you've hit, has. Oh, that's a huge strike over the offside this time. Brilliant batting. 6 more back-to-back 6s. Sensational stuff from Malhotra. That's a much better shot. That's it. 6, 6, and 6 more, just about. That's 150 for Malhotra. He celebrates. The helmet comes off for the 3rd time today. He did it when he got to 50. He did it when he got to 100. He points up towards us. It's been 155 not out now from 121 deliveries. One of the great one-day international innings you would ever want to see. They'll be talking about this for years to come. Across. Gonna smash this one down the ground. That's 6 more. 6, 6, 6, 6. 4 consecutive 6s from the bat of Jaskaran Malhotra. They're looking for that on the construction side. I don't know where that one's gone. But Malhotra is playing slot again. Looks like he's going to have the 5th. 6, 6, 6, 6. It's gone all the way. It hung in the wind for a second, but I knew that one was gone as well. Toka's got none for 60. The first 5 deliveries of the final over stands on the brink of history. 1 ball remains. Can he join the batsmen who've hit 6 sixes in and over? It's got to go all the way. Can he do it? To the best. He's hit 36 off the final over of the innings. Jaskaran Malhotra, take a bow. One of the great one-day international innings of all time. 173 he's going to finish with. He joins the list. Herschel Gibbs, Yuvraj Singh, Kyron Pollard. You keep naming them. I don't know who else is on that list, but Jaskaran Malhotra is there now. He's done it. He has played Gaudi Toka for 6 maximums from the final 6 deliveries of the innings in one of the most astounding displays of batting you could ever imagine. Jaskaran Malhotra, you have played and 73 not out, 6 sixes. Hope you enjoyed the highlights during the break. That was of Jaskaran Malhotra's innings, an innings for the ages last night. And are we going to be in for some similar fireworks now? Today, Nepal starting to set a platform, going at just less than 4 and over. First drinks break taken. Lovely work into the leg side by Malap. Just gets through for the single. So your messages have flooded in on social media. Thank you for all of those. I'm going to start running through them now. Good use of the feet, but good fielding as always, despite the fumble from CJ Meany. Good grain made across to his right. Yeah, if you want to hit me up for those messages, it's at Cricket Badge on Twitter, or a tweet or a direct message, and I'll try to read them out. The first one coming from San Francisco on the west coast of the USA. Andrew, love your commentary. Thank you. Amit Powdell, very kind. Woke up at 3:30 a.m. to watch Nepal. Decent score before I head out for work. That's the passion of the Nepal fans. 19 overs gone. We'll come back to those messages. 70 for 2. So Amini is going to continue. His leg spin been very tight so far. Very accurate leg breaks. Questions continue. This one from Kapali, who is watching on from Bhaktapur. I think that's back in Nepal. A vice captain from Nepal. Good question. I think someone like Dipendra Singh Airi might be a very good choice. No, he's not in the starting 11 today or yesterday. I think he might be struggling with a bit of an injury. Fuller this time from Amini. Yeah, maybe. What about Karen KC? He's a good leader. All-round cricketer as well. Big appeal from Amini and the keeper this time. Both interested in that one. How close this was. Now inside edge. If it had hit the pad, it would have been very close indeed. And you saw that Amini was generating, and it's the drift that's causing the threat, really, not the spin. Not a big turner of the ball, just straightening it as much as breaking his leg breaks. Hit into the air, but wide of Norman Vanua, out at deep cover, and a brilliant throw, a direct hit from the deep, about 70 yards out. I think would have caught Rohit Powdell short. So fortune again for Nepal. They're living dangerously. Look at this throw that comes in from the deep. Made great ground across to his right. Picked up cleanly with one hand. And it was a flat throw. And watch this. Direct hit definitely would have caught him short. 20 overs gone. It's 74 for 2. So Vala's going to come around the wicket now to Gyanendra Malla, and that's the topic of my next question. This one because it's in the local Nepali script. At MLNDKL, who is from Kathmandu, asking, how do I rate Gyanendra Malla's batting? It's a good question. I think he's a very start to see him score more heavily and more regularly, but he's a very powerful striker of the ball, and he's a great asset, and I think the real linchpin of this Nepali batting order. At number 3, next question coming on from Bipin Kanal, watching from Kathmandu via Action Sports HD there, and he's asking, what do you think of their batting display in particular? Comes off the outside edge. It's a very good question. I think the big issue over the history of Nepal batting, probably with the exception of Paris Khadka, it's just been a bit all or nothing, being sixes or dots, or fours or dots, just like their big shot around as naturally as they perhaps should. That's why Dipender Singh Airi is such a big miss. Nepal batting consecutive dots, not what you want in the middle of the innings. We'll come back to those questions. 21 overs gone, 77 for 2. Good that from Malla. Down the ground for a single. The singles I was talking that Nepal need to start getting more of. Next question comes in from Samyog Lutel. He's asking me, how excited are you to come into this? What would you like to see there? Great question. The EPL is a fantastic tournament. Was lucky enough to host that in 2018. I was just blown away, really, by the passion and joy within the fans. All about love, that tournament, and the love of the game, the love of cricket, the beautiful TU International Cricket Ground. Comes off an inside edge. A little bit of fortune for Malla. He'll get through for the single. And in terms of which Papua New Guinea player I might like to see there, CJ Amini, good leg spin bowler, dynamic, fantastic fielder. And he plays the game with an enthusiasm that Nepali fans would love. Googly this time, going to be too high. He's deceived Rohit Paudel. He hasn't picked it, but that is going to clearly bounce over the top of the stumps. It's probably, as much as anything, more of a top spinner. Good bowling. Yeah, I'd love to see CJ Amini in the Everest Premier League. Too many dots at the moment for Nepal. 22 overs gone. It's 80 for 2. Quick single. We'll get through for one, Malla. He's looked more fluent than Paudel has. There's a big shot. I was saying it's a bit all or nothing. There's a man out there, but it's going to fly over his head. Goes away for a Wow Energy Drink Power 6. And it's a good strike. Finally releases the shackles, Powdle. Certainly risk taking, though. He's hitting almost straight into the wind to the biggest boundary in the ground. But that's the confidence that Powdle has. Goes straight over the head of Norman Vanua, who as soon as it was hit, just turned his back. That's better. Good batting. Gets the big maximum. The Wow Energy Drink Power 6, and then he gets it down the ground for one. Have to see some aggression from the Nepal batting lineup now. Amini at mid-wicket. More questions coming in to me at Cricket Badge on Instagram and Twitter. Loads of tweets coming in. This next one is brilliant from Amini again there. Anil Dungana watching the game from Nepal on Action Sports HD. Form of Gyanendra Malla. Do I think that Malla should drop himself and give some opportunities to the younger boys? I'm going to have to disagree with you there, Anil. I don't think the captain of the country should drop himself. Doing a very fine job there on 38 and leading his nation well. Let's see how he goes for the rest of the afternoon. 23 overs gone. It's 88 for 2. Powdle's tally. Cutaway going to be more runs. Could well be back-to-back twos, but Soper is quick. Powdle wants a second, but Malla coming in from Sheshadri in Kathmandu, watching via Action Sports HD. He's asking, how much do you think Nepal will miss Dav Watmore after this? Will there be a drop in their performances? Malla's picked that one up. That's his power and class from the Nepal captain. The 6 is starting to rain. It's another Wow Energy Drink Power 6. A drag down this time from CJ Amini. Not even that short, in fact. But it's gone away into the construction side, over the retaining wall. In fact, it's down onto the football. Answer your question, Sheshadri, before it was interrupted by that maximum. There's Dav Watmore, the man we're talking about. How much do I think Nepal cricket is going to miss him? I think it is impossible to state just how much he'll be missed. He's made a gigantic impact on Nepali cricket in the 12 months or so that he's been in the role. Understandable at the same time. It's a very different world these days, and not able to get home to his family, giving us a bit of a clap there for Malla. Will there be a drop in performances when he leaves? It's hard to know. I think he's going to depend on who comes in. Good batting this. I think the most expensive over the innings so far, already 10 runs from it. But yeah, I cannot speak highly enough about Dav Watmore, not just as a coach, but also as an individual, as a human, real people person. He takes such care and attention for everyone he comes across, whether it's the bus driver or his star pairing good man. 24 overs gone, 10 runs coming from that over. Nepal 98 for 2. So going to be a change in bowling. The captain has to go back to his experienced medium pacer, Chad Soper, which will hopefully give us a bit more time to get through all the... They keep flooding in. Next one coming in from Sangam Powdle. We'll come to that after this. Thuds into the pad, and that's going to be a wicket. He's just walked across his stumps a little bit, and the change of bowling has worked. Guinea was just trying to work it into the offside. I think it was the off cutter from the first delivery. It's taken a bit of grip. It's turned, and yes, indeed, it's trapped Guinea straight in front. No doubt about that. Rahul Asher, he's got all of his decisions right so far today. So Mala is trapped in front by Chad Soper. He has to depart. It's a very slow walk off the pitch. 45 for him. Nepal, 98 for 3. So welcome back, and what a big moment in the match that was. A definite contender for the Food Mandu moment of the match. The third wicket has fallen. It's gone to Chad Soper from his... Back into the attack. Great change of bowling from Asadoa Vala. That's what you want as a skipper. You want to change things when you... in who is bowling. At the crease in at number 5 for Nepal. It's the keeper batsman. That's Binod Bandari. Just trying to get his feet moving to start with. Recalled into the side in place of Arif Sheikh. Arif Sheikh, who had the gloves in that first ODI. I've seen this a lot from the PNG bowlers. They're so keen to get going. They just creep up, don't they, on the batsman. And the batsman absolutely entitled and well within his right just to walk away and say, I'm not ready yet. So the umpires have been getting plenty of practice with their dead ball signals. Great comeback back into the attack from Chad Soper. And brings me to my next question, which comes from Sangam Powdle. Score, he's saying 195 plus from the... That leaks down. And will bring the 100 up in the 25th over. So that run rate bang on 4 and over at the moment. But yeah, Sangam telling me that he had his board exams till 3 o'clock, but I finished it 1 hour early, made sure to get all the details into the examination just to make sure not to miss the game. He's watching on there on Action Sports HD as well. The passion for Nepali cricket, it's almost unrivaled anywhere in the world. Pitched, and just a simple full flourish of the bat. 1 bounce and over the rope for a dish home fibre net boundary 4. Soper's just proved a little inconsistent in his lengths today. watchful in defence this time. Rohit Paudel anchoring the innings for the second time in a few days. Halfway stage of the first innings. So halfway through there, Damien Ravu will return into the attack. For keeping me company. Not an easy commentating. Would love to have someone to talk to in the commentary box, but instead I'm going to talk to you. So my plan for the rest of this innings. I'm really enjoying your commentary. I'm from Kathmandu. Thank you, Nawadat. Question: do Nepal need to increase their pace after Mala's wicket, or should they look to build now and then finish big? Comes off the leading edge. Fortune for Bandari. And are the certainly they will look to rebuild a bit here. Binod Bandari, not a big hitter of the ball, so his role should surely be to just try and rotate the give Rohit Paudel as much of the strike as possible. Are the lights going to make a difference? Well, it may take a little bit of getting used to. Certainly incredibly bright indeed. Highest looks, I believe, anywhere in the world at a cricket ground. These brand new LED 4 towers that have been installed for the T20 World Cup next month. Next question from Gamir in watching on Nepal. Am I supporting Nepal or you at PNG? He asked the question with a big smiley face, and I'm going to have to give you the only answer I can, which is the fact that I'm independent in the commentary box. I want both teams and all players to have great success. It's a little bit of a cop-out of an answer, I know that. But genuinely, all these players, they're chasing their dreams out there. Can give them nothing but respect for the way they're going about their efforts, and to see a moment like yesterday where someone like Jaskaran Malhotra, who was left out of the American, back in and making a world record. You've got to respect that, and really special to be able to be on commentary for that. The next one comes in from Mandeep Nirala. Again, another one from Kathmandu, I believe. And he's asking, do you Nepal to organise more ODI cricket after the Everest Premier League to develop Nepali batting? Yeah, I think can, now that the board is in place, doing a great job. That tri-series back in April was brilliant. 26 overs gone. It's 105 for 3. Chad Soper is going to continue. 26 overs gone, into the 27th over here. Finally getting through all these messages. James asking me, as a former leg spinner yourself, what do you see as a special talent on Sandeep Lamachani? Good question. I think Sandeep Lamachani has all the talent you would want as a leg spinner. It's a nice shot into the leg side, just relying on timing, only time for a single. Terry Jenner, who I would have received some coaching from back when I was a youngster in Ireland. Shane Warne's famous leg spinning coach always said to me that leg spinners, he felt, were born with the ability to bowl leg spin as opposed to created. Very difficult thing to teach if it doesn't come naturally to you. And it certainly comes naturally to Sandeep Lamachani. Looking forward to seeing him bowl this evening under the floodlights. Just when I thought I was getting through all the messages, I've just looked at the tweets now, so they're going to come. Yeah, these, so we'll try to get through them all. Hit into the leg side and dropped. Put down by Tony Orr, a really difficult chance. Been dropped on 37. And Chad Soper, the unlucky bowler again. I think he was the bowler for several of the chances that were put down yesterday, and it's happened once again. Rohit Powdell dropped on Chance Sharp to his left. Big moment in the match. Is that another Foodman-do moment of the match? Not a positive moment of the match, a negative one for PNG, but dropped by Tony Ura. Yeah, going back to that question about the Cricket Association of Nepal, can they organise more one-day internationals? Well, I think that effort to play that tri-series just before another lockdown there in Kathmandu was a huge effort, and got to give Can credit for their efforts here. Just a tardy bit of glove work this time from Kip for 3.5 days, but that one will be signalled as a bye. We'll come back to those thoughts. 27 overs gone. It's 108 for 3. Yeah, just those thoughts on the Cricket Association of Nepal, who back as a member of the ICC, one of the associate members, 106 members these days of the International Cricket Council. Very difficult to organise international cricket these days, and also a big credit to Can and USA Cricket, who've worked with Marin Media to pull this broadcast together. 4 one-day internationals this week, and we brought you every single ball of them. Came together at the very last minute just a couple of weeks ago. Fans were on in their droves to ensure that they could see all the scenes, and just as well we did broadcast these games, because that moment of history last night from Jaskaran Malhotra would have been missed. So yeah, great credit to Ian Higgins there in USA. Vinod Das, of course, in Cricket Association of Nepal. Comes off the outside edge. Good bowling from Ravu. No one in the slips or gully position, so we'll get through for a single. Questions. The next one coming from Atul Baral. Who do you think is going to be the X factor for this match? Good question. Going to find it difficult to answer anything but Sandeep Lamachani. I know I'm a little bit biased towards my leg spinners, but do keep an eye on CJ Amini as well. And I think Karen KC is another man to watch back into the side today, not just with the ball, but also with the bat. If he gets going towards the end, who knows? We might have 6 sixes again. Gaurav Junkarki, the next question on Twitter, at Cricket Badge. What do you think will help make this Nepali side to get more competitive? I think just exposure, really. More games, more opportunities. Qualifying regularly, certainly for T20 World Cups. Of course, 16 teams in those. There'll be 20 teams from 2024 onwards. A great decision, that one. But it might be really difficult to get to the 50-over World Cup. If they can finish in the top 3 of Cricket World Cup League 2, they'll go straight through to that Cricket World Cup qualifier. Left alone outside the off stump by Powdell will be signalled as the end of the over. 28 overs gone. It's 113 for 3. Hit into the air. First signs of any mid off and mid on up in the circle. So chip over the top, really. That is going to run away for a dish home fibre net boundary 4. Over pitch from Soper. He's been certainly more erratic today than he was first match between these two sides, across on the second of the 2 grounds here at the Oman Cricket Academy. Questions and comments. This one coming from Zan Zenith. Andrew, I'm watching Nepal v PNG live from Australia. It's 10 p.m. here right now. And he's asking me my thoughts on the new generation of Nepalese and American cricketers. And yeah, that's a nice question to be able to answer. I think the off-cutter again, and so nearly accounting for Bandari like it accounted for Gyanendra Malla, but I think it's gripped too much this time. It's turned and it's bounced. So probably the question of height and the leg side nature to the not out. Given as a leg by as well, so no bat involved. We're going to keep going with these questions, and thank you so much. Nearly really does help us here get through with the production. Generation of Nepalese and American cricketers, and Zenith asking me that. I think there's great talent in both of those squads. Abhishek Paradkar coming in, the young 20-year-old into the American team yesterday. 4 wickets on debut for him, but look at the young talent in this Nepal side. Kushal Malla, Sushan Bari, Bikram Saab has had a great start to his ODI career, taking a wicket with his first ever delivery in ODI cricket. And the 2 openers, I know they failed today, but Gyanendra, Kushal Bertel and Asif Sheikh quick single, we'll get home. And 29 overs gone. Nepal moved to 119 for 3 now. So the questions continuing to flood in. Shristra asking me, how does it feel to experience the rare record of 6 sixes from the commentary box? Well, it was an absolute thrill. Scrambling around trying to remember in the back of my mind who had done it before. I think more by luck than anything else, I managed to remember Herschel Gibbs, Yuvraj Singh and Kairon Pollard, but the ball striking from Malhotra was just phenomenal. He did have his fortune. He was dropped 3 times. Attack here. But didn't he capitalise on those drop chances? And it has to be said, it wasn't just to the shorter boundary. It was all around the ground. If you get onto social media there, I've seen it flying around the world on the USA Cricket handles and even the ICC behind it. We've seen CNN tweeting about it. Herschel Gibbs, Yuvraj Singh and AB de Villiers all commenting on it. And I'm sure Kairon Pollard's had a look too. But watch it back. The ball striking was really of the highest quality. The second 6 of the 6 in particular, wide outside the off stump, that has to be about a 90-yard boundary, and it was into the wind, a wind that was blowing, and it didn't just creep over the boundary, got over with some ease. It was almost a strange sense of inevitability about it all. Magnificent innings. The records just tumbled. Next question, this one coming from Samrat Maharjan, asking, what's a good score on this pitch? Anything over 180 perhaps, given how Papua New Guinea have struggled with the bat so far? I think your latter point is a good one. But Nepal are surely going to want north of 200. Projected score, even if they just go with the run rate they're at, it's 201. 240 plus would be what they're looking. This is where the late order hitting, as we're going to see overthrows, we're going to have not just 4 to the total, we're going to have 5. It will technically run away for a dish home fibre net boundary, but it's actually going to be 5 runs to the total. Look at this, the throw comes in and the keeper can't get to it. And Vanua shakes his head in disgust because those 5 runs will go against his bowling analysis. It should have just been a single to mid off. They'll end up with 5. Next question coming from Suraj. Strike rotation is key in ODI batting. I agree with that. He's wondering why is it missing in this partnership. Difficult to say, but certainly there's been too many dots for Nepal so far. Do have the power hitting to come. He smashed. 20 remain. Nepal are 124 for 3. Going to see the debutant brought back in to the attack. That's Pupua Vagi. Perhaps he maybe should have been given an over or two more up the top. 4 overs, 1 for 9, and he's going to have the 2 batsmen who are in, been at the crease for a little while, without the movement that he had early in the innings. So he's going to have to try and keep his lines nice and tight. Yeah, a few too many dots. Watmore will be pleased with that. He'll be taking his notes on the sideline. Paul's head coach. Hit into the offside this time. Come with the frequency that Nepal would have liked, and 4 6s already in the innings, just 5 4s. But just like there, far too many dots. That's going to be the mountains of Nepali fans watching on from Bharatnagar and Barawa. I'm going to be asking, why has there been so many dots? That's good running. Brilliant work from CJ Amini as always. That was the direct hit that he just couldn't affect in the first or second over of the match, where he so nearly ran out Kushal Bertel. But Rohit Paudel very quick between the wickets. Look at this athleticism though from CJ Amini. Picked up and thrown in almost the one motion. Can't think of too many better fielders in the world at backward point than CJ Amini. He was here this week, Kareem Agor. So a good tight debutant, 3 runs from that over, 31 gone, 127 for 3. You can see Nepal just trying to up the urgency a bit here, but struggling to get going. Paudel moves to the edge of 50. Going to keep asking. Haven't even opened Instagram yet. That's how many are flooding in. One coming from Sadish. Big fan of your commentary. Thank you, Sadish. He's asking for a projected score for Nepal based on the current situation from right now. Hard to know. It's going to depend a lot on the power hitters to come. There's a platform built there that says the projected score at the bottom of the screen, 204. But I think Nepal need to think north of that. I'm going to go with about 248. I say you should double your score from the 30th over. And I think plenty of power hitting to come. Driven into the offside. Next question from Sailesh, watching Nepal versus PNG on Willow TV. He's in North America. The quality of the broadcast is really great. Thank you for that. One question though, where can I watch the matches of the Tri-Series next week? So those games will be on icc.tv. Cricket World Cup League 2 matches. I'll be bringing you the commentary of those alongside colleague. No ball signalled. Second no ball of the day and the second free hit of the day. Guinea, they've been keeping things tight, but this is going to be a free dinger for Binod Bandari with the short leg side boundary, hitting with the wind, and the field can't change. Two games can be watched on icc.tv, or if you're in the subcontinent on Fancode, the Dream 11 app. Here we go, the free hit for Binod Bandari. Mashes that one away. That's a great shot. It's going to be yet another boundary. This one, it's a dish home fibre net boundary 4. I was just unable to see whether or not that went for 6, but you could see just short of the rope. Well captured by our cameraman on the replay there. Nice crisp strike from Bandari. Good to see that from him. Yeah, lets out a yelp of frustration. Nishan Sapkoda with the next question on Twitter. What's my view on the running between the wickets of the Nepalese players? With you, certainly the fitness and attitude of the youngsters, the likes of Asif Sheikh and Kushal Bertel and Rohit Paudel, really impressive. The strike with a single off the final ball of the 32nd over. It's 134 for 3. So Kabua ,18 overs remain. Next question coming in from Ashkal Pakarel. It's asking me, at Kadka in their squad, sometimes Nepal managed to play a mysterious game like today's partnership. Are Nepal struggling? He's watching on from Bharatpur on Action Sports HD. And that is going to be an official warning for Kabui Vagi even. Formal warning from the standing umpire. Come back to that question. And I think the answer to that is, as Rohit Paudel gets to 50, come back to that. Good batting from him. It's been an assured in, but he has a second career ODI 50, made 41 in the second game, and the youngster, he just gets to the landmark. Strike rate just over 60. I want to improve that, and he'll have plenty of time to double up if he's still there at the end. Comes off the outside edge, will just be sent back. Yeah, to answer your question, Ashkal, a little bit of mystery always around the way Nepal play their cricket, but it's because they're still learning. They're a young side, and are they missing Paras Kadka? Well, I think any of the associate nations in the world would miss Paras Kadka. Must pick, but he is moved on from the game as a player for the moment. Heads into the pad. Surely see this signalled as leg buys. Next question coming from Kursing Kunwar, who's watching on from India. What do you think is a good score on this pitch? Well, my prediction of what Nepal will make is about 248. I'm going to stick with that. I've written it down in front of me so no one accuses me of changing it. What would be a very good score on this pitch? I think 270 from USA was a great score yesterday. Anything in excess of 250. Good batting wicket, but enough in it for the bowlers as well. 33 overs gone now. Nepal 138 for 3. So just a slight, I think, from both the batsmen. Beautiful scenes at the Oman Cricket Academy. Going to see another change in bowling, back to spin. This is going to be a critical spell for CJ Amini. I suspect the Nepal boundary on the leg side. Change in the 2 men out in the deep. On the leg side, that's quite a wide long on and a deep square leg alongside a long off and a deep cover on the offside. So definite opportunity. To target that shorter boundary. Bandari slips and he has to dive back. He does get back. Shadows certainly starting to lengthen. Haven't seen the floodlights turn on just yet. Worked into the leg side. No time for a single there. More questions coming in. Avesh Tiwari asking me, with more teams coming into the IPL, can a few Nepalese players get opportunities there? I'd certainly like to think so. I think that associate cricketers are often criminally underrated and underused by some of those franchise leagues. You think of the impacts of the likes of Sandeep Lamachani on those leagues. Good googly this time again from CJ Amini. But yeah, players like George Munsey from Scotland. Think of Ahmed Raza in the UAE. Plenty of the Namibia players, Jan Froilink in particular, all have the talent. They just need the opportunity. 34 overs gone. It's 139 for 3. Direct hit, big appeal and given. Vinod Bhandari was slow off the mark, and it's Norman Vanilla from short 45 who was picked up. PNG are magnificent in the field. They've deserved that. I think this is going to be a really close call on the replay. Let's see, was Bhandari home? Oh, it looked very tight indeed. The direct hit was the only thing that was going to give PNG any chance, but the trademark celebrations, the dancing, the jumping is out. And just as I was saying, Nepal needed to get going. Powdell has possibly run his colleague Bhandari out. Bhandari is gone. He falls run out for 17. Nepal, they are now 139 for 4. So going to be Kushal Malla, the youngster, in at number 6. He strikes a big ball. Will give Nepal the left-hand, right-hand combination. So that bit of misfortune with the run out might not end up being the worst thing for Nepal in a funny way. Malla, such broad shoulders for a youngster. He really does hit the ball very hard indeed. We saw that during the tri-series between Netherlands, Nepal and Malaysia. Astounding to think he's just 17 years of age still. Down the leg side, half an appeal, just flicking. Yeah, it was the final of the T20 series in Nepal where Malla really made yet another global statement. 50 of 24 deliveries, 5 sixes that day. Nepal racked up a quite extraordinary 238 for 3. Highest total in their history, as they won by 142 runs over the Netherlands. 35 overs gone. Nepal going at exactly 4 and over. It's 140 for 4. So we're going to keep going with your questions as CJ Amini is going to continue to the left-handed Malla. One coming here from Ola here, watching on from Seattle on Willow TV HD. PNG, can we say that USA will be hard to beat for Nepal this time? I think that's a good question. Certainly it's going to be a very different tri-series to the one that we saw in Kathmandu, where Oman were so dominant and Nepal were highly impressive in there. Edged and taken. It was the slog sweep looked for across the line of the googly from Amini. Amini, 6-hitting pair at Kushal Malla today. He's going to fall. Not the right line to be playing the shot to. The perfect googly going across from Sese Bao in at first slip, and good captaincy from Asado Avala. Put the slip in for the left-hander. Amini's gone with the googly. I'm not sure Mala's picked it. He's gone for just a single. Nepal in a bit of trouble now, because they are 140 for 5. We're going to have a drinks break. We'll take a break here in the commentary box. We'll be back with you with all the action in about 3 or 4 minutes. So the fans starting to come in. It's a day off here on Friday. CJ Amini found that big wicket. 6, meaning that Sampal Kami is in to the crease at number 7 before Nepal gets off the mark immediately, working the ball into the leg side. Just straying down the leg side this time, CJ Amini. He's in a lovely rhythm at the moment. Flat leg breaks, getting a little bit of drift. Only seen him drag 1 or 2 down throughout the entire week. Definitely been the pick of the bowlers for Papua New Guinea, and he's always the pick of the fielders as well, although this one just evades him. Another tight over. The wicket, and 3 runs coming from it. It's 143 for 5. Nicely driven down the ground by Powell. A lot of work to do for Nepal still. The projected score is flirting with 200. They need north of that. I think Papua New Guinea would be very happy indeed if they only posted 199. They back themselves to close out their week, which has been a tough week. 3 defeats in 3 games. Another batsman from Nepal being surprised by the lack of pace from Kabuavagi. Won't have seen much of him. It's his one-day international debut. I doubt there's too much footage floating around of the left armour. He's made a good start, taking a maiden wicket. He's going at around 2 and over as well. And that's clever bowling. Just a little roll of the fingers across the seam. Beats the attempted prod outside the off stump. See if I can catch up with some of these comments. There's too many coming in for me to get every single one of them. Next one coming from Prince, asking, is there any chances of due factor coming into play later in the game? I didn't feel any. I don't know if that indicates whether there'll be any today. Certainly the American bowlers had no issues. Direct hit would have been out. CJ Amini, you do not take a single to him. That's suicidal. Poor running, it has to be said, between Cami and Powell. The one person on this field you don't run to is CJ Amini. He swooped in like a hawk. He's always tied in there at backward point. He picked up cleanly. And a direct hit. And it would have put Nepal 6 down. They can't afford that. Sampal Kami gives him the thumbs up. I can assure you, if the direct hit was found, that would have been out. Cut away into the offside. CJ Amini so nearly there with what would have surely been a big contender for the Food Mandu moment of the match. Norman Vanua, the lead contender for me at the moment. Nepal really need to get going. They need to get going in a hurry. Drop back down under 4 and over. It's 146 for 5. CJ Amini will continue. We'll see if we can take a look at the bowling figures for Papua New Guinea at some point coming up. He's over. I suspect he'll close out his spell. He's really enjoyed bowling from this end with the wind coming across him. Yeah, there are those bowling figures. 6 bowlers used so far. Just the 4 overs for the skipper, Asadoa Vala. Googly, there to the back of the hand. You can see the grip just ever so slightly changes, I think, for Amini. Looks to me to hold it a little bit deeper in his hand. But those 4 overs from Vala open up the options of him not having over. Some aggression into the leg side, but he hasn't caught that well enough. Sampal Kami just going to be a single. He did hit CJ Amini for a big 6 down the ground in the first game between these sides. That was over long on, and then he tried to repeat the dose with only a handful to win. He was nearly caught out long on. That's exactly where that ball will go. One of the problems for Nepal is Amini's so quick through his overs. Just harrying and hustling. Good work in the deep again. Just 4 singles from that over. 150 comes up. 38 overs gone. It's 150 for 5. Nice flowing drive through the offside, and he's got it well enough with the aid of a misfield to get it away for a boundary. It's a dish home fibre net boundary 4. Really nice stroke. Punch shot really from the half volley. Not a moment that Sese Bao is going to want to see again. It thuds off his leg and into the rope. Can Nepal start to get going here? Get back to those questions, see if I can more questions about how much Nepal are missing Paris Kadka. That's from Gaurav Junkarki. Ashak Pakaral, thanks for your questions. Funny question here from Manoj Gautam. Can't they stop the construction work going on, at least while the match is happening? I'm afraid not. They've got a T20 World Cup to build up to. And just asking me about the EPL 2021. Awfully excited about that. I am as well. Playing a miss, just a flirt outside the off stump. Sushant asking me to get into Instagram because there's all sorts of messages in there. I will as soon as I can. Hopefully in the last 10 overs. Just the angle across. Good question though, this one from Bikrant Canal. Watching on from beautiful. Not yet. Hopefully one day soon. But he's asking me, can you talk about the value of associate cricket being televised? How much revenue do you think can eventually be generated to help the sport in these countries? I think it's critical. It really is. The exposure that it gives for these countries. Even a broadcast like this week, we've got 5 cameras here this week. We've just about managed to pull it together. Unfortunately, broadcasting